Hi, I'm Karuna.
I'm Sakshi, and welcome to Quietly Chaotic. So, what's up, Karuna? What are you doing?
I'm just sipping on my matcha, ready to get into today's podcast, feeling energized.
But why matcha? Weren't you on a coffee kick?
I was, but you know how every time when I'm in my little phase, I get so anxious, and the older I've gotten, the worse it's become. I've realized that when I have matcha, I don't get the jitters and I don't get those crashes. So that's why the switch to matcha. Also, I prefer the taste now.
So, speaking of anxiety and jitters, do you want to start on our favorite topic, which is health and fitness?
Yeah, let's get into it. So we've been working out for the last about, I guess, more than 12 to 13 years. So since we've known each other and before that as well, I think you've been working out even before I ever started working out.
Yes.
So why don't you take us through your journey of health and how you discovered fitness and how you found a passion for it?
So, from where do I start? I was always on the heavy side. I was always the heavier kid, and I was so used to being called different names like baby elephant, road roller, and the famous one Govardhan Parvat.
I can't believe it, dude. If I was in your place, I would punch these kids or like complain to my teachers at least.
I did try to do that, but I think it was so common during that time, like 15, 20 years back, that no one cared. But that was not the motivation for me to work out. Actually, I fell really sick and I contracted typhoid, and we went to the family doctor. And it is not even related, but my doctor told me that I need to lose a lot of weight. He put me on fat burning pills, which created a havoc in my gut, and my whole mouth was filled with so many ulcers.
Sores?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was quite bad. But my mom forced me quite a bit, and she told me you need to work out to shed some baby fat. That what they used to call it that time. So
Oh my
I
God.
joined the gym. I think I was 15 that time, and I
Oh my
slowly,
God.
yeah,
Gym
it was
at
quite fun.
15?
Yeah, I
Oh
left the
wow.
summer camp that month. I was like, okay, let's see how it actually affects me. People are raving about health, and I was like, I have to leave my aloo tikki charts and my Biki Max ice creams. So I started going for workout like every day for 1 hour with my other best friend, and it actually worked, dude. I lost around 10 to 15 kgs, and I didn't do much, like just 1 hour of workout and maybe cutting little bit of food, whatever I was eating. And when I went to school, everyone was like, whoa, Sakshi, what has happened to you? And I'm like, dude, that's how I came into workout, like more of sports activities, more walking, maybe little controlling my diet. Not completely, but yeah, I avoided chips or extra colas or extra candies. So yeah, that's how it started for me.
This seems quite depressing, honestly speaking. First of all, the doctor. I mean,
Yeah.
who does that? Typhoid causes weight loss. I don't know how it's related to being heavier. It is not. And pushing diet pills or fat burning pills on a 15-year-old who I've seen your pictures, you weren't really that heavy at all. Like, I would not call you obese in a way that impacts your health. You were like any other kid during that time, maybe slightly on the heavier side, but I mean, everyone is during that time. I really did not, medically at least, from my point of view, you do not look morbidly obese, right? So that for in itself is annoying me. Kids, I mean, you really can't control them. Whatever they see on their television screens and whatever they see in their homes is what they come and repeat. It's learned behavior. So it's not really something that I guess you can blame kids for. You should blame the society and their parents and their upbringing for. So that is what it is. But the fact that everyone switched up on you when you went to school after losing a little bit weight, that just puts you in such a bad mental position where you then sort of get validated from external people for looking a certain way, right?
Yeah, and I was actually quite angry about that fact that, okay, now people want to be friends with me now just because I've lost a certain amount of weight or I'm looking a certain way. But by that time, my radar was up, and I'm like, no, these can't be my real friends. So I never put an effort to even be friends with them.
That's very mature of you, because if I was 15 and I was your age and suddenly people started being nicer to me because I was, looking the way that they thought that people should look at 15, I would be so messed up in my head, because I would just be like, oh, so only if I look a certain way do I have value in this world,
I'm
which
happy
is
that
so
my
messed up.
hormonal shifts were towards me and I was mature enough about it to leave
Yeah.
these friends.
This is crazy. That time period, I think, was insane, where only women, the way that we looked mattered. And you could see that all around, pop culture. You remember watching One Tree Hill and OC and seeing all of these skinny girls.
I
And
know, like wearing low waist jeans without any muffin top. Like, is this even possible?
yeah, and it used to just, I think, mess up your way of how you looked at yourself.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, we've discussed this a couple of times. The best part was you never felt that you were any different. You remember?
Yeah, I know the term body dysmorphia. Whenever I used to look in the mirror, I was like, no, I'm not fat. Actually, I never compared myself with any of my other friend, like by looking in the mirror. So whenever I used to look at myself, I'm like, no, dude, I'm not fat. I'm not even big. Like, I have the proper curves. I have a girl body. And I was
That's
very
so
happy about it.
sad. That is so sad, not for you, but like, so you didn't have any issues with yourself. It
No,
was
I didn't.
because other people had issues with the way that you existed in the world. I mean, great that you got into fitness, and obviously we have a different outlook on it now, but it makes me angry like
Yeah, it
nothing
was
else.
quite a phase, but later on, we anyway learned how to go about fitness. Speaking of it, how was it for you when you started? When did you start?
Honestly, I started much, much after you. I was also a little on the heavier side when I was in school, but I was fortunate enough that even those snide comments and stuff, I really didn't care about, because I was such a nerd that I only cared about getting X
Good
amount of
grades.
marks. Yeah, which is also bad, by the way. So you were seeking validation, or no, you were not seeking. You were given validation for looking a certain way, and I was given validation for performing a certain way, which is both bad. I think we should have just been given validation for being human beings.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I think I was so focused on getting really good grades, being in the top of the class, and just being that way that I really did not care. So I honestly didn't even look at health and fitness ever. Even though my dad was really into it, my mom was really into it, I started noticing the way that I look compared to other people when I went to college, because I was not staying at home at this time. I was staying far away from home, with completely new friends, freedom for the first time. And that's when I started noticing, okay, I look really different. And like people get to wear so many different types of clothes, and I don't get to wear it. Oh, I did not have a healthy mindset because we did not have really good role models during our time
Yeah.
for how to approach health. It was always like, oh, you want to be skinny, or you want to lose this much weight
Just
because you want
stop
to look a
eating.
certain way. Yeah, or just stop eating. So that was my approach. My approach was like, I just, instead of being like, let's eat healthy, I had no resources. I went to the college gym
Hmm.
because I thought I should lose weight. And the college gym guy was like, you should have only salads, or you should not have rice, you should not have chapati, you should have a lot of veggies, and you should have, and this is 2007. Okay,
And
so
that too
we,
coming from a trainer who's not even giving a balanced diet, what we
yeah, I
call.
was some random gym trainer in college. So I'm sure he was not qualified in the least, but that's the mental, that's, I thought this guy knows how to do stuff
Yeah,
because,
because we were
he's
not
fit.
exposed to it. We thought that he's a trainer, he should be knowing what he's teaching here
Yeah.
at
And
gym.
there were no fitness influencers and fitness blogs that I knew of in 2007. So I just listened to him. I kid you not, I lost an unhealthy amount of weight. I'd say that I was, when I finished school, I was maybe like in my late 50s. And when I ended college, I was in my like late 40s. And I was like, what in the hell? And that was only because I was not working out. I went to the gym like maybe 5 days, took his advice, and then just implemented it, which is eating less.
But
And
if you see for a short term, it's like big motivator, right? You did lose weight
yeah,
from whatever you did, be it maybe working out twice a week and eating like maybe less than 1,000 calories a day.
Yeah, it
Like,
was
okay, this works.
horrifying. Yeah, and then suddenly you fit into all the kind of clothes that your friends are wearing. You start suddenly feeling good about yourself because you look a certain way, the way that they show in movies and shows and things, and you're like, I'm finally here. Not knowing that all of this time we as women have messed up our hormones by doing this to ourselves,
Yeah.
which we'll get into maybe later. Do you want to talk about your college time? Like, how did you approach fitness then?
By college time, I was a lot into. I found a gym near my house, and the trainer was quite good. He was knowledgeable, so he put me in the right direction. Like, how much should I eat? Even though it was, I won't say it was like the perfect diet or the balanced meal which he gave me, but I still worked quite hard towards building strength and doing cardio, doing yoga, and following a certain kind of diet. But during that time, our age was also a big factor. Whatever we did, it showed on our body like so quickly. Like within a month, you've lost 3 4 kgs, or if you've left just a packet of chips every day, then that also
And
worked
you've
wonder.
gained muscle definition and you feel like you can, oh wow, I'm lifting heavier.
Yeah, so that was really good. That was the time when I really got into fitness, and I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do. Even though I was not 100% there, but I
Hmm.
was still, it was a journey for me from there.
Yeah. For me, I mean, again, like you are way ahead of me in the fitness journey because for me, when I went into post grad, which is again living away from home, having hostel food, which is shitty, it's not nutritious at all. And because of how I ate when I was in undergrad, I had already messed up my body. I started realizing that I think I have a medical issue. Finally, at the end of graduation, I realized I have PCOD. That's great, and it's
Oh, damn.
self-caused because I did this to myself. No one can be blamed because at that point you learn how to use the internet a little better and you're able to sort of figure out what to do, what not to do. And I realized that the last 3 years in undergrad, the way that I was treating my body was absolute filth, and no wonder my hormones are messed up and now I have to live with this because I did this to myself. So I think I started gathering more resources on how you should eat, what it is that you should do, how you should focus on strength. And it's really not about losing the weight, which, by the way, if you go to any PCOS doctor even now, they're going to be like, oh, shed some weight. Like, okay, thanks, I didn't really know that.
Yeah,
Do you understand how
exactly.
difficult it is to lose weight when you have PCOD? Why didn't you just tell me at that point when I was diagnosed that, hey, just go to the gym, build strength, and when you start working out, the hormones start balancing? Things like that, people should have
I
told
think
us
it's
those
more of
things.
a lifestyle change than just losing weight or following a certain kind of diet. It has to be every day. We just can't have like a balanced meal or restricted foods only for 10 days and then think, okay, it'll be lifelong and we won't have to do anything about it.
Yeah, which is why I think neither of us believe in restriction. We love food.
Love it.
80% of our conversation is around food always. And I don't see any kind of food as, oh my God, this is horrible. Obviously, except for things like palm oil and stuff. But I eat everything even now. I think it's more so just the whole concept of I eat and I work out and then we'll see. I know how I'm treating my body. I know what fuels my body, whether that's carbs, whether that's protein, whether that's fat. I don't really care. I just am a little more mindful of, hey, okay, I think I'm lacking this in my body. So it's always more the way that I approach it now, or I started approaching it when I was diagnosed with PCOD is, hey, I'm lacking this. Not that, hey, I should remove this. Like, oh, I'm lacking protein. So I'm eating meals, but I stay hungry. And when I try to go lift in the gym, I'm not able to feel that strength. And I realized, oh, okay, first of all, I'm vegetarian, then I don't have milk products as much. So where do I get my protein from? I thought that getting protein from rajma and chola and chana was enough, but clearly not, right? So that's when I started researching a little bit. But yeah, that was my post grad journey right before I started working.
And with the whole journey, I think we also understood the whole concept of eating in moderation or feeling when we are full, or not just binging on it around 12 o'clock at night while watching movies. I think slowly that also came into our lives. We were there somewhere, but we, I think, came back towards the normal routine.
I agree. And I would credit so much of my learning on fitness and, a science based approach towards it to this influencer. Natasha Ocean, and she stopped making content, unfortunately for me. But she was my biggest inspiration because for the first time, I was watching someone online who looked strong, not skinny, not thin, not heavy, whatever like. I wouldn't use any descriptors visually to describe her, except for that she looked really strong and she ate really well and she spoke about everything with scientific fact. And it was a woman telling other women how to approach health, not a man who doesn't understand how our hormones fluctuate on a month to month, week to week, day to day basis, but an actual female who was strong, lifting heavy, doing crazy gymnastics, was an Ironman athlete, just telling me how to work out. I think that's when I realized that, oh, okay, so you can use food to actually get you stronger.
And
And
because of you, I also started following her. And one thing which stuck to me was, dude, she's eating quite a bit, like more than an average person. But when I actually saw what she's eating in her meals, it's like good amount of protein, good amount of fiber, good amount of good fats, as you call. And I'm like, okay, it's not just restricted to 1200 calories, which is written everywhere in our science books or even general resources. And we're like, okay, this is something we can do because we love eating. If we just make it more yummy tasting, we can totally do it.
yeah, 100%. I think she really shifted our mindset
Mindset.
on
Yes.
how we approach eating because we always ate good food, but I don't think we were eating the right kind of foods, and two, both of us were in such high stress jobs and just high stress lives in general that we had that sort of emotional eating problem. So anytime we ate, we were stressed, let's order dessert. Anytime we were feeling bad about our jobs, you want to treat ourselves to the XYZ, which is fine, it's great to do that. But we were doing this
Every day.
every day. Every day we were working out in the gym, and then the next day our bodies wouldn't recover, and we would go again to the gym and we'd be like, why aren't we able to lift something that we were lifting, a month ago, 2 months ago? Why is it getting more difficult? Shouldn't it get easier the more we go to the gym? But what were we putting in our bodies for us to be fueled?
Speaking of being in office, I just want others to know like how we started it together
Yeah.
since we met in 2013, and from there how our fitness journey started like together. Do you
Yeah.
want to speak on it?
Yeah, both of us, we were just trying everything under the sun because for us, it's so important to love the workout. If we didn't love it, we just would get bored of it and we would just leave it. So we tried everything. You tried CrossFit, I tried yoga, then we tried weights, then we tried kettlebell, then we tried body pump, we tried spinning, we tried everything under the sun. For
I'm happy that
me,
we actually got exposure also being in Bangalore. There
yeah.
were so many options. And remember, you had also joined Pilates as well, which I haven't done yet. Maybe
Yeah,
just a trial
yeah.
class.
Yeah, all of them have merit to them. And both of our bodies are also so different in the sense that, so I have PCOD. So there are certain types of workouts that I cannot do. Anything that spikes my cortisol or anything that spikes my heart rate
Basically,
too
all the
much.
high intensity workouts,
Yeah,
especially CrossFit and HIIT.
exactly. And did that is when I realized that, hey, this doesn't really work for me at all. I feel more tired. I feel exhausted. I don't see any difference, not just on the scale, but I also don't see any difference on my muscle tone. I'm not seeing any improvement in my muscles. I'm not seeing any fat loss or anything of that sort. I think, yeah, for me, it was a lot of trial and error to finally be like, I can do anything when it comes to weights. And if you want to use weights to maybe raise your heart rate a little bit, maybe like a kettlebell workout, that is my favorite workout. What's your favorite workout that you've ever done?
Initially, when I had joined gym, I didn't know that this would be the workout which I will follow through the years.
Mhm.
But then in between, I started going for group classes. Again, it also had HIIT and strength workouts, but maybe it was a change for me. I did that for a couple of years. But then later on, like presently, I've still gone back to the same traditional gymming with my personal trainer, and it suits me the most. Beat, I love squats, I love deadlifts, and that's how it will be in future also for me. from all the learnings which we've done from
Mm-hmm.
yoga or to the group classes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also because anytime we lift weights, you just feel strong. And that's a feeling that is unmatched.
And you're
I don't
so
get that
into it.
feeling.
You're so into it. Like, okay, I can do it. My body can do this much. Should I put like 2.5 pounds more or 5 pounds more? How will my body deal with it? Or how like stronger I'll become? That gives quite a kick.
Agreed, agreed. Because when I was doing spinning, I was raising my heart rate, I was sweating loads, but I would go to bed exhausted and wake up the next day exhausted. And I didn't realize that it was just my PCOD getting worse because of it. And I could really see that as my PCOD symptoms also got worse. Then I read somewhere that, you should maybe try low intensity workouts, or you should include a little bit of weight training, which is when I started doing kettlebell and instantly fell in love with it. You always told me gym workouts make you feel really strong and you really love it. I unfortunately never got to try it. For me, it was always free weights like kettlebells.
I think it's also because of your personal trainer experience from college that you didn't trust like a lot of people who
That's
can
true.
actually help you in the workouts.
That's true. That's true. But so yeah, I think for me the kettlebell experience was great. The body pump experience insanely good, and I could actually see a difference not just in my overall, the way that my muscle tone was, the way everything, but just my day to day energy. My PCOS symptoms negligible. Weight, finally lost weight after 4.5 years of trying to lose weight.
But
And
I
I
think
don't
by
lose weight
then
easily.
we were not more into losing weight by that point. What you are saying, because we were like,
Yeah.
we are looking better, we are feeling stronger,
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
do more
Losing weight
treks.
was just a bonus thing that was just
Yeah.
happening along the side. For us, it was like, I could put in more energy. And also, I think for us, the biggest thing was we don't feel as stressed and anxious anymore.
I know. We discovered that quite later once we had figured out, oh, this is working for us. And now going on to the second part, that we don't have stress also, at least not when we are working out.
Yeah, and slowly that became motivation number one. Where
For
we
sure.
were like, we can manage our stress so much better the days that we work out. And you remember we used to go traveling for work sometimes, or we used to go for trips sometimes, and we used to stop working out and we used to come back to office. And we realized, okay, we're getting triggered way too quickly. And then we did it like 2 plus 2, and we realized that it's because we haven't worked out in a month.
Yeah, and speaking of more workouts, I also want to say by the beginning of March 2020, when COVID hit and everyone was just working from home, then we were like, oh no, what do we do about our workouts?
Yeah.
We started buying more weights, more dumbbells, going for online classes.
Natasha Ocean came to our rescue once again with her workout program. So we did that.
And yes, online nutrition. I think we should talk about the scam we were held with because of this
Yeah.
nutritionist who gave us
E-
like a strict 1200 calorie diet and said this is how you will lose weight. Even though didn't go there to lose weight, we were just like, okay, we need
we
better.
both went for completely different reasons, which we'll get into. But just for context setting, I had already been here and not like the results. So I don't know why I went again. You had also been there, but for
Yeah.
your mom, and for your mom, it was okay. I mean, it helped her because it was a completely different goal altogether.
Yeah, but the sad part was, even though my mom's goal was very different because she couldn't work out and it was only focused on fewer calories just to run through her day,
Mhm.
she or the person, they gave us the same diet. Like there was no difference. Like we are burning around 300 to 400 calories on average every day, even though we were at home with workouts, but we still got 1200. And
Not just that, I think so. Again, to preface the whole situation, we were working out, we were feeling really great, we had no issues whatsoever when it came to our health. At this point, things were starting to finally open up. You had a goal in mind which you shared, My goal was that because I was home, the workouts were a little bit restricted. I was sitting on my ass the entire day. I was not eating well because we had to cook on our own, and I had just learned to cook during that period. So there was just very little that I could do. So it was more of ordering in during that time. So for me, it was like, how do I get easier meals that I can meal prep, because we had no help during that time, and how do I use those meals to fuel my workout? That was mine. What was your goal?
For me, I wanted to start planning for my pregnancy. So I thought
Hmm.
maybe getting all the different kind of nutrients or whatever is deficient in my body. For example, vitamin B12 was quite lacking, and vitamin D. I think that is a universal vitamin which lacks in a lot of
Right.
people. So I thought maybe along with the diet, not just supplements, maybe certain kind of diet which will help me get those vitamins rather than just relying on supplements. That was one of the goals for me at that point of time.
Yeah, so we both went to this very well known nutritionist, just establishing the fact that we didn't go to a dietitian. We were very
Yes.
clear on that. We went to a nutritionist because we know how dietitians usually function, or functioned rather, during that time. I mean, it would have been very simple for us to just Google a diet, but we thought that if you're going to a very well known nutritionist, maybe we'll get an added advantage of understanding how these different foods work for us. So we go, we share our restrictions, we share our objectives, all of that. She hears us out. I think we followed up with her 6 or 7 times before she finally shared the PDF with us on
And I
WhatsApp.
also want to add, before that, she had told us to get certain amount of blood work done so that she can give us the diet accordingly. And
Exactly.
from that blood work also, it showed like how your requirements are way different than mine.
Correct. Yeah, I'm not deficient in B12 or vitamin D. I had completely different issues. So I did my hormone panel, and my hormone panel was slightly off, right? So mine was a completely different thing. Yeah, let's start with when we both got the diets. What was your reaction?
I was shocked after knowing diets, nutrition, or whatever sources we had. I just see her paper, whatever she had emailed me. It was just 1200 calorie diet. Early morning, drink certain amount of water, then have 100 grams of cooked rice and very very little protein, if I should say. How people say like based on your body weight it should be 1 gram per pound,
Yeah.
but it was completely different. It was not keeping me full, it was not keeping me happy, and I don't think there were any meal preps which we would require, considering we were at home the entire day. And I did not like it at all. I was quite disappointed with the amount of
Yeah.
money we had paid.
Yeah. So this was your reaction.
What
My
about you?
reaction, I saw the 1200 calories and I was like, I'm not following this diet. I'm not going back 7 years, 10 years to what I've already done and how I got PCOS. This is not something that's going to happen again. So I called you and I was like, can you share your diet? Because I thought maybe I follow what you're following, or like maybe take some hints from it. You send me your diet, I open my diet, and I call you. And I'm like, Sakshi, she has given us a copy paste
Yeah,
of each other's diets.
she just didn't include the last part, like bedtime milk, because you don't like it.
Yeah.
That was the only thing missing in your diet
Dude,
chart.
you remember I told her how I hate carrots and not to put carrots in any meals? I had carrots. I
Almost
had
every
carrots.
lunch or dinner.
Yeah, that ticked me off. But because we are both such people pleasers, we just messaged her. We were like, hey, it seems like our diets are really similar to each other, but we had such a different requirement. Could you maybe relook at this and give us an updated diet? Because we had paid 7,000 each
Yeah,
for a
this was like
one
5 years
month
back.
diet. For a
Yeah.
1 month diet, okay? Not even like 3 months. 7 grand. And she then, I think we follow up with her 15, 20 times. And she
Yeah,
comes
and
back.
she does change the diet chart with what? From 1200, it shifted to 1350 calories. Just because we told her we do work out, so she assumed maybe 150 calories more will be enough for them to sustain the
And
entire
we
day.
told her we worked out the first time also when we
Yes.
met her. Oh
Like
my
we told her
gosh.
her entire history. We were like, she's taking so much money from us. We should tell the entire background of our body and our journey and our health and fitness. But nothing happened.
Getting angry again, just talking about this. Can you
I
imagine the people who go to her who maybe haven't researched as much as we did over the last how many ever years, and they just blindly follow the diet that
I
she had given?
I should take example of my mom because I was not following the diet, but she had given a certain diet to her. She was following it, and I was not an active participant in that. So whatever was written in the diet chart, I was just telling mom to do it, and she did it. Even though nothing
That's
changed for her, even be it vitamin or mineral deficiency or blood work, nothing changed after 3 months also.
It's crazy to me that these people are allowed to ruin other people's health in this way.
And open a practice and con people.
Y-
No.
Yeah, and con people all over India.
I think we should like skip to more funny or maybe cringe stories. It's been quite serious. So,
Right. Do you
um,
want to share yours first?
okay, fine. I'll share mine. This is I think it will top my embarrassing moments at gym.
I
So
agree.
I was in one of the group classes after office. I went, I changed, and there was my favorite trainer who was supposed to take the class. And I'm fixing my hair, and I'm just standing right next to him when the previous class was just about to get over, and he was right in front of me. He looked at me, he smiled, but when I smiled, there was a big bubble out from my nose.
Do you guys have you guys seen the meme of the chihuahua with the nose bubble? That
Yeah,
is
it was that.
literally what I
And I didn't
imagined.
even have a tissue or a handkerchief just to take off my nose booger. I just had to wipe off with my hand, and he must be thinking, what woman is this? And after that, I never said hi to him. That was the last time.
Sakshi, if I was in your place, I would not have been able to step foot in that gym.
I don't know how I did it. Maybe that was the time to change the branch of the gym
Maybe
because it
your
was
brain just again completely removed this from memories so that you could exist.
only I know how I did the entire 45 minute set, like with him being right in front of me.
I would be scarred. You would not find me in a 5 kilometer radius of that gym.
I did not sleep that night. I kid you not. I did not sleep that night.
I remember when this happened, I was at my gym and you messaged me saying, "You will not believe what just happened with me." And I thought maybe you fell, or maybe you injured yourself, or maybe you ran into someone that we know from work. I did not expect you to send me the gif of that dog with the bubble, and I still didn't understand what you were trying to say. And then you told me I was running to the washroom to pee because I laughed so hard. I laughed so hard. I could, and when I was working out, I was doing kettlebell swings. All I could just remember what you told me, and I was laughing my ass off during the workout because I couldn't even imagine this happening to me. This
I
is,
think enough for me. You should tell your embarrassing gym
I don't
story.
think mine was this embarrassing, but it's again my social awkwardness. Now that I think about it, it's not funny. It's just sad that I don't have basic social skills that are required to exist on this planet. And which is why I don't meet people and I don't leave my house and I hate going into work because then I have to interact with people. And this memory sits at the back of my head, teasing me every time I open my mouth that, hey, do you remember when you did this? Okay. This was during the time where we were extremely regular. We were going to 5 to 6 classes a week, and we were again very, very disciplined with our workouts because we loved our workouts. And I finally found a trainer that actually knew what he was doing. And I was seeing changes in the way that I felt, in the way that I looked, in the way that I could lift. So I was extremely happy. And then suddenly out of nowhere for a week the trainer doesn't come in and I'm stressing because no one else offers this type of class anywhere in Bangalore, and I know this is the only center and this is the only trainer because I've done my research. Me being type A, I've tried to look for backups and there are none.
And I remember how worked up you were that if he doesn't come, then like what else? What next will you do apart from
Yeah,
kettlebell?
yeah, because I hadn't found anything else that worked so well with me. So finally, a week later, I call and they say, yeah, the class is happening today. So I'm like, great, finally. That was a tough break, but okay. I go to class, I work out, and I'm like, I'm excited, because suddenly your endorphins are going after 7 days and you've suddenly like full of energy. This is the same feeling you get when you feel, if you're an introvert and you suddenly feel extroverted for a minute and then you make plans and then you regret
Yes.
it. It's the exact same feeling. There's a rush of endorphins and like, okay, oh my God, I'm gonna make social conversations today because no one can beat me today. I'm on such a high. And I walk down with the trainer and ask him, hey, where were you for a week? You didn't show up. And this is maybe the fourth or the fifth time I'm interacting with the trainer. Mind you, I've been working out in his class for a good 5 years, right? He's like, yeah, I couldn't come in because, there was a death in the family or something. And what leaves my mouth? Not, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss, or, oh, I'm so sorry, how are you feeling, or anything of that sort. What comes out of my mouth is, oh,
Oh my God. What did you say next? After O?
I took an auto and left because I was
Karuna.
frozen. I was frozen. I could not believe that an exclamation left my mouth and not a single
It's like
sympathetic,
endorphins just crashing down and you don't
oh
know
yeah,
what to
oh
do.
yeah. I did not know how to go back to that class after that.
Oh, damn.
I called you and I said, Sakshi, do you know what I just did? And you couldn't believe me. You
I
thought
think
I
the
was
only reason you went
exaggerating.
back to class because there was nothing else. You had to face it.
And I also was like, maybe if I go to the next class, maybe I can, talk to him or something so that it's, I don't know, I can make up for it.
Just
I,
make the
I can say
situation better.
something nice. Yeah, I can just maybe make the situation nice because I don't want him to think that I'm a bitch. I just was caught so off guard because it's not like I'm friendly with the person, right?
And
This is
it's
the
not
fourth
like
or
we are
fifth
used to
time.
just surprise talks with anyone for that matter.
Yeah, I was just shocked because I did not know how to behave. I did not
I'm
know what
sure
to
the
say.
person also must be shocked after this
Oh,
reaction.
I feel so bad because in my head I was saying, oh, how are you feeling? Oh, I'm so sorry for you. I'm so sorry for your loss. That's what was replaying in my head. But what came out of my mouth was not that. It was just a sound effect.
I'm sure the person would have forgotten about it, but it's just us who keeps these things and then
I
cry over
hope
it.
so because even now, when I'm trying to go to sleep some days, I'm like, why the hell did I take out a sound effect out of my mouth? Why not words? What is wrong with me?
Damn it. Yeah, that was one cringe story.
I don't think any amount of exercise is just gonna build self confidence and
For sure.
uh,
How much
yeah.
ever stronger we get, this will never change.
I wish you could exercise your brain in a manner that would make you feel less awkward in social situations. When I spoke to my therapist, she taught me about exposure therapy,
What
which
is
is
that?
essentially when you have a certain type of fear. So whether that's fear of being in social situations or fear of flights or whatever that may be, you slowly expose yourself to those situations so that you become desensitized to the fear. So for example, I don't know if you've seen these videos of people trying exposure therapy, people especially who are introverted.
Mm-hmm.
There's this female on Instagram. She goes around lying on the main road on a yoga mat. And when people go and ask her, what are you doing? Oh, she's like, oh, exposure therapy because I'm afraid of being in social situations. I'm just exposing myself to the most embarrassing thing I can do to myself in a social situation, which is just lie on the main road with a yoga mat in a very busy street so that every time I'm in a social situation, it can't be, she can think that it can't be worse than that.
Do you really think it will work for us?
No, I think we'll pass out from the which is why I never followed my therapist's advice. I was like, thank you for your
This
recommendation.
this was quite an extreme recommendation from your therapist. No, no points to her.
Yeah, no points to her because it's not something that I will ever do. And we have tried it, by the way. We've tried to put ourselves in social situations and we always walk away with an embarrassing story. So it's not for us.
Yeah, we've just given up on it. Like, we don't even think of it. Like, we have desensitized ourselves just thinking it's okay. If no one will talk to us, we will also not talk. At least we'll save ourselves from an embarrassing situation.
Yeah, and we won't ruin our good night of sleep just overthinking the
For
situation again
sure.
and again. Why do our conversations always end with these socially awkward stories?
I think we should just tell people that we are also like completely not normal, I should say. But yeah, like, I'm sure this must be happening to a ton of people. And again, this is a safe space where people can talk about it.
I hope so, but I think this is where we should end our podcast today. And maybe the next podcast, we talk about the social situations that we have put ourselves in willingly, which is travel and some of our travel stories because we love to do it so much.
Yes, that would be the topic of our next episode.
So, see you next time. Bye.